Executive Director, Adriana Vandernoot, to come up and speak, please.
I'm a hand talker.
Hand talker.
Check the wiring on that. It's very garbled. So can you hear me if I talk like this? Can I shout loudly? No. I don't hear it. Check the connection. I think I got turned on.
There's a switch just on the top.
Can you hear me now? Yes! Good evening, everybody. My name is Adriana. I'm the Executive Director of Durham Youth Housing and Support Services. I like being directed.
Sorry.
Talking louder. So, Durham Youth Housing and Support Services operates an emergency shelter for youth. We are the only emergency shelter for youth in the Durham region, and we are located in Ajax. We have since expanded from being an emergency shelter and now offer more programming such as transitional housing. We have an in-house Grow School program where 15 youth have been able to graduate from high school, and we've now decided to make a shift. So we started off as a shelter with great intentions to support the youth who have a place to stay in our community. And what we realized last year when we had over 400 youth stay at the shelter was that shelter services is not the answer. So we've now shifted and we are moving towards homeless youth prevention. So as an organization, we are now operating the first ever homeless youth prevention program in the Durham region. The goal is to go out to schools, go out to the communities and work with youth and their families and help them fix any of the issues that they've got going on and provide support so that those youth don't leave home. Once they leave home and enter the shelter system, it is very difficult to get back into a place of school and their relationships with their family. So I brought with me today a very important person, and he's more interesting to listen to speak than I am. So Sultan has been with us for a couple of years, and he's by far one of the most inspirational 18-year-olds I have ever met. And he's here to talk about what we would do with the funds if we were fortunate enough to get them. So I'll turn the mic over to Sultan and let him tell you a little bit more about himself.
Hi everybody, my name is Sultan, and I'm here on behalf of Joannes House to speak a bit about how they helped me during a difficult time in my life and how they're continuing to support me to this day. So just under 2 years ago, I was homeless for the first time. It was the beginning of October 2017 during a very chaotic time in my life. I ended up in the hospital from an intentional overdose of Percocet. I lived with my mom and my four siblings, and it had been about 3 years since we moved away from my violently abusive stepdad. But things hadn't improved much at home. My mom was still just as mentally and verbally abusive as before, and she stayed out late evenings, leaving the responsibility of my siblings to me. At the time, my mom had also just pulled me from the gifted program because my grades were slipping at my last school, but what she didn't know was that she was kind of the cause of it. I didn't have any friends, I was depressed, and I had been taught to internalize these feelings. So I spent a long time figuring out what I should write for my family before I leave them forever, expecting it to be sappy and sad, but in the end I wrote my harsh but honest feelings and downed a bottle of those. A day later, I woke up in Scarborough in a psychiatric ward of a hospital where I spent 6 days pretty much locked up. With nothing to keep myself occupied, made it pretty hard to think about anything else other than how depressed I already was. I decided I could no longer go home despite how hard it was leaving my siblings. Couldn't heal in the same environment that made me sick. So after a taxi ride back, I arrived at Joannes House. At 17, I was ignorant to a lot, like how to rent, maintain employment, or how to file taxes. So being on my own was pretty daunting beyond the fact that I didn't have a house or family. And the idea of shelters was extremely new to me. But as it turns out, at Joannes there was no lack of support, whether it came down to food, shelter, counseling, or employment. Staff never stopped trying to keep me pushing. I had a team of staff that acknowledged being a teenager can be rough. The first month when I stayed at the shelter, I was given a mandatory week case management where I went through my goals with staff and they would help connect me with the correct services or offer support if they could. Beyond that, they just treated me like a human in general. Compassion goes a long way when you're at a low point in life. After getting enrolled in school again, finding a counselor, they also offered me a spot at Jackie's place, their transitional home where I've been staying since December 2017. Moving to Jackie's was a huge step towards my independence and honestly one of the best moments in my life. Now today, I'm about to attend college in about a couple of weeks. And I'm looking forward to my future. If we got these funds, we'd be hoping to open a youth advisory committee and offer the same type of support that was offered in my time of need, because youth are our future and we should be investing as much time as we can into them.